Okay, folks. Now I've got some almonds. It's Planters limited edition pumpkin spice almonds. Because the Halloween treats keep coming, and we got the thing of almonds. Oh, and it tastes like pumpkin pie. Um, which actually doesn't taste like pumpkin at all. It tastes like nutmeg and cinnamon and whatever they put in pumpkin pie. Good. I don't mind these. I like with other almonds better, but it's Halloween. We'll eat the pumpkin almonds. So, a year went by. Now, I finished the last haunt. During the middle of the year, word got out. I don't know how they contacted us. There was no email. Did they phone me? I don't know. But word got out that the mall was being torn down, and we bought another haunt, that one that was the woods. They purchased it, and they had, not we, but they, or we, or whoever, a bunch of props and stuff that were purchased. So every once in a while during the summer, there was calls to come help move stuff out of this mall because it's being demolished. And it was moved into a warehouse, where it was all stored, everything that could be saved. In the meantime, they got a parking lot at a strip mall, put up a huge tent, and that was where the World of Terror, as it's called, World of Terror 6, was going to be. And I signed up for a room. I wanted to do a Frankenstein room. I actually wanted to do a Universal Monsters room. And the whole idea was when my aunt and uncle came through the house, they didn't really know who Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger were. I was about 30 at the time when I started doing the haunts. And they were 10 to 15 years older than me. They were younger aunts. I mean, young because my mom was only 21 when she had me, and she's the oldest. So they were all in their teens when I was born. And still, that puts them in their 40s. In 1990, they're not really going to be keen on the 80s monsters, and they wanted to know why weren't there classic monsters in the haunt. I thought, yeah, why weren't there? And I love the classic monsters, as you know. I've told stories. I love them. So I was going to do a classic monsters room, but I ran into a problem where I had no time. I was able to put together. I did not do a thing hardly. I mean, I painted some walls with brickwork. I drove around to television repair shops and got worthless, useless old parts and circuit boards, and I built like switches and knots and things on the walls with wires going everywhere, and maybe moved in a table and strapped down a fake body to it and covered it with a sheet so it looked like it was the monster. And I didn't get a lot done because I got really busy with another haunt that was closer to my house, and they were doing a hayride. And they were rebuilding one from the year before, and I know it was a total scam because I would go there and work like 5 hours, and they'd clock me in for 8 or 10, and you'd actually get paid. And I was doing the one that you got paid because I needed the money. Always, and it was closer to my house, but I still had a commitment to this other and friends. I just really put off the room, but in one day, I went down and finished that, and it was a really nice Frankenstein room. Looked like his lab. I found so many things to put in there that built it up to a lab. And they thought it wasn't going to happen. People were like, oh, are you actually going to do this room, or should we just block it off? I'm like, it's going to be done. And a few people said, no, I've seen him do stuff last year when he did that Twilight Zone room. That took him about 3 days, actually, So we're never worried. And I did it. I got the Frankenstein room done. And I did act at that haunt sometimes. At the Old World of Terror, I acted more at the Hayride haunt. And at the Hayride haunt, my first job was a Jason type character. It was really dumb. I mean, the guys who made it, they had no idea. They were just, it was really some money was given to put this on, and somehow they were skimming a lot off the top and giving us a lot by increasing our hours on the time cards and stuff. And I never said anything. I just took it. You know, I mean, I know it was probably ill-gotten gains, but hell, free money. So anyhow, excuse me. Have a sip of some water here. Yeah, so for about 2 weeks, my job is this train or tractor, whatever, would run around this track and would stop at different places and something would happen and it would pull on. The one before me was and they called it Toxic High because they had a whole bunch of barrels and they found some lockers or something and they threw black lights out in the field, painted the barrels toxic-y looking, and a couple teenage girls, well, they weren't teenagers, they were in their 20s, easily in their mid-20s, but they dressed as teenage girls in high school, and their whole job was like, I don't know, they would bang on the things and act like they were from Toxic High, and they would yell at the train, and it was a weird one, but I was really good friends with them. I hung out with one of them all the time. That's why I want to make it clear. It wasn't a teenager. She was playing a teenager. She was in her mid-20s. I was 30. And was divorced at that time. So it was okay. So we were really good friends. And we would talk between the things. We'd see the train coming. I'd have to run. And I was in a coffin. It was kind of buried and tilted up on the hill. My whole job was to sit there as the train came. And I would fill the coffin with a fog machine, and then as the train came, I would kick open the coffin, the fog would come pouring out, I would rise up in the fog in a Jason type of mask and outfit with a axe or a knife or whatever I had, and run at the train car, at the tractor pulling a little cart, and people would scream, and then they'd drive off. That was for 2 weeks. It ran for 4 weeks. For 2 weeks, that was my job. And then they gave people new jobs. After 2 weeks, they let us pick new jobs. And so me and one of the girls, I don't even remember her name. She looked like Lydia from Beetlejuice, and that's what she dressed as for this new job. And we got to be what were the gate attendants, which is where I learned line work. And I created a character that I called Pinface. And he was terrible at first. It became a really fun character after a long time. But I had a cape, like a Dracula type cape. I had my old college graduation robe, and I put the robe on with the cape over it, and I kind of created a Cenobite type of outfit like Pinhead wore, and I called the character Pinface because what I did was I, with liquid latex and cotton, created scars all over my face. And then I used safety pins to close up the scars, and I used blood to hide all the makeup effects. And that all worked. I think the first time I did it, I went and got blue and made my face blue because I thought it would look more like a cadaver. I looked like a damn Smurf. It was stupid. But anyways, eventually I got more of a pallor gray. I got the makeup down. I could do it pretty fast. Still took a long time. And our job was basically we seated the tractor, but we were doing the line work. We were talking to the people as they came up, um, and just having kind of fun, spooky, and letting them look at the scars. And, it was pretty bloodied up, so you couldn't see the It was a decent effect. And I called him Pinface, and because of Pinhead. It was inspired by Cenobites and some movie that I had seen where a guy had piercings starting all the way down the bridge of his nose, just a series of piercings. I thought they looked weird. So I did that with the safety pins, made a little, a ridge on the bridge of my nose out of cotton and then latex and latex and latex, and then went through that. And then that piece became a solid piece that I could take on and off my nose. I hooked one to my ear that went down and around to my nostril. So I had 2 suicide chains of safety pins. I actually made safety pin chains going from my nostrils to my ears. It was just a weird, very pierced out look. It was 93, 94. So I was actually more pierced than a lot of people walking around at the time. But I wasn't pierced at all. That you could see. I did have my nipple pierced. But that was not everything else was fake. You never saw the nipple. Well, I'd say you did if you asked. But so that was it. That was my character, Pinface. And I did that for a couple weeks. But I also did the other haunt. I did him at that other haunt and learned kind of line. I still didn't talk, although at the hayride I spoke some. Usually people would come up and ask us, when does the ride start? And we would say, when it's dark. And then kids would say, well, when is it dark? I said, when the sun drops below the horizon. And it would just give you this look like, what? And they wander off. But it was kind of, because basically the ride started when it was dark enough for the ride to start and all the actors were placed and ready, which was not a set time. So we never gave a set time because there was no set time. And especially to kids, because 2 minutes past the set time and you're getting yelled at or nagged at from kids. But that was the year. So I learned him, and I brought him to the other haunt, and I would do him. And I actually was learning the line. And at the other haunt, there was the best. I mean, people outside had the best moves. One of the best things I ever saw was a buddy of mine who was doing the chainsaw scenes in the house. They built the chainsaw room in the house, and outside, because this was at a strip mall, they had porta potties, a whole row of porta potties. And since they were outside, they did have live chainsaws. There was just no chain on them, but it was a live chainsaw. And one guy would hide you would know which porta potty it was. It had a radio station sticker on the door. And that was basically so you knew not to use that porta potty if you had to go, because he would sit in there, and he would just sit there, and he'd have his chainsaw running but quiet, and as soon as someone opened that door, he would jump out of the porta potty with the chainsaw just right in their face. And when someone makes the decision to use one of those things, that's the last thing you need to happen to you. There was a lot of accidents occurred that year. It was wonderful. So that was basically year 2 and the birth of Pinface. So year 3 might be, I don't remember. Oh, I remember that was at Milpy. Okay, so year 3 is a good year. That'll have some story. But time to go for now. All right, thanks, folks. I don't know. Pick up some almonds if you want. It's a big thing. Too many almonds. The flavor's okay. Tastes like pumpkin spice. I'm not going to eat all of these. Again, I'm going to go on a thing probably at the gun show this weekend. Let people eat them for me. All right. Thanks, folks.